Oh, hello. Do you think that Big Brother's watching? Or that the Illuminati is planning to take over the world? Have you happened to have an encounter with a space alien today? Well, if the answer to those questions is yes, then grab your hat. This is tinfoil hat time. Welcome back to Tinfoil Hat Time. It's been about a month since I've done a Tinfoil Hat Time, and we're kind of back on regular schedule. Of course, I kind of suspended those for a little bit. I had, the Christmas holiday, and then just things were weird, but they're just about back down to normal now. And so it's great to be back here with the tinfoil hat. It warms your head quite nicely, but it keeps those pesky government security monitoring radio waves out. But yes, if you are fairly new to the channel, this is Tinfoil Hat Time, and I am not a conspiracy theorist, but I like to look at things that people are like, this is so close to conspiracy theory, but the reality is it's not conspiracy theory. These are things that I actually kind of document quite well. And it occurred to me, once again, I forgot to build my banner. It's like I'm sitting here for like 5 minutes waiting for the thing to go, and I totally forgot to build my banner for the day. So I'll go ahead and build my banner. And then, what is this? This is number 50. Tinfoil Hat Time number 50. That is awesome. We have had that many tinfoil hat times. And replace that. There we are. I think my banner is up. So, how is everyone this glorious Saturday evening, or maybe Sunday morning, depending on where you're at? That could very well possibly be it. Well, today we're going to be talking about the cashless society, and Carbon Programmer is in the house. This is dedicated to you, sir, for giving me this idea. And I almost last minute changed to something else, but I'm just going to go ahead and save that topic for next week. That is going to be something to the effect of, are all of these crazy cars going to kill us? So we're going to be looking at all that. So let's go ahead and have a look at our comments before we dive in. Keegan, the Tennessean, is first, and James Miller second. Life Outside the Windows is third. Brian, the Computer Geek, he is fourth with his hat is ready to go. I think that means hat. Naras, greetings, and Haddock Dev is online. Let's see. Tinfoil hat for the paranoid. For me, I would opt for a Faraday cage-lined room with a sci-fi film in the darkest hour. There you go. Roger is the name of the space alien. He's right back there. There's Roger. Say hi, Roger. Roger here. Let's see. Spotty Sylvia. Greetings. Simon the Watch Guy. Hello. And KO2610, hello kitty. That was a very scary toy back in the day. Pseudo Linux, hello. Yes, oh, that's a cool new kitty picture. Let's see, right now I'm tinkering with Plasma Mobile. So far it's stabilized a bit. That's cool. Is it worth it? Is it like production ready? Let me know if it's production ready. If it's production ready, I'll look into it. Tinfoil hat made me laugh. Nice. Maxery, how's it going? Carbon Programmer made a good choice by taking Mandarin instead of waiting a year to take Spanish. Yep. Happy 50th. Yes. What's up, Mark Yates? Oh, it's midnight there as well. Let's see. Get a better view in the dystopian concepts by learning Mandarin. There you go. All right. So we're going to be looking at cashless society. And of course, Carbon Programmer first alerted me to the concepts of some of the things going on over there in China right now. So I started digging into it. And it's not just China. Not only do we have China, but India is making a lot of inroads towards this. And then even there's some core parts in New York City that are now starting to move towards cashlessness. So several of the bistros you may attend in New York City. The handler wants to come up. Hello, people. Grab your hats. This is tinfoil hat time. Give me 5. Yeah. All right. And so several bistros now in New York City are also now going cash free. Now, here's some of the funny things about the law, because I was under the impression that a place of business pretty much had to take cash. Well, it's actually not in the law. Cash would have to be accepted to settle a debt. So what it actually appears in the law is that if if it is known by the customer that the place only accepts credit cards and you or you know, does not accept cash, and you willingly eat there, you are bound by their terms of eating there and are bound to the payment options without cash. But if they never alert you of that, and there's no signs posted about that, and you would in general not know about that until after you eat the meal, then they would either have to accept the cash or the meal would be on the house. Is actually the way the law seems to be interpreted right now as we make this foray into this cashless society. But we're going to dive into the Chinese society. How's it going over there? I'm not sure. I actually have some articles from the India society, but I'll go ahead and pull in some of the concepts from there. And then I actually watched several TED Talks on this issue, you know, pros, cons against these things. There's some banker out there that has this new system, like, how do we teach our kids about money in a cashless society? He has this little bank box thing that's basically, it's like a smart old kid's piggy bank, and you know, whatever's in there, and it'll display the digital reading on the front. And how do you put money into it? Well, of course you have to use their app. So then you have the money, and then you select the types of coins and you roll it down into the thing. Like, for the love, just give the kids some money. But anyway, that's some of the things we're going to be talking about. I'm going to talk about a little bit about what I do, some of the things I've criticized what I do, some, you know, stuff like that. So let's go ahead and dive into this fun topic of this cashless society. Let's see. So this one here, and some of these, a lot of these articles are from early this year. A few of them are from, you know, mid to late last year. I got this piece on my hat. It's just not working in there quite right. There we are. I think that should be better. All right. So basically what's going on in China is almost everything is moving to an area. Even, I kid you not, people, even the bums on the side of the street, you can walk up and scan a QR code with your phone and hand the bums money. I kid you not. That is how ludicrous the society has gotten. So much for spare change. And so basically there's two main pay apps. There are more, but the two major ones that together take 93% of the market are the Alipay, which is part of the Alibaba Holdings Group, and the WeChat Pay, which is actually part of, we talked about this one, is it I think it's SoftBank or Soft something. We talked about that one a couple weeks ago somewhere. They're the guys that just bought a huge stake in Uber. So those are kind of the two big banks running everything. Now, these are not like banking apps. These are more like a PayPal service. So what happened in that culture is people went from mostly using cash. They skipped the credit cards because debt is still somewhat taboo, and they moved right on over to this. But just like PayPal, they have the offerings to have a line of credit, which becomes more and more. Now, here's the fun part. As I dove into this, and I spent an hour trying to find any details about this from any of these two systems, nowhere have I found anything about loading your account with cash or having everything. Everything all connects to these accounts. So it begs this fascinating question, where is the money coming from and how do you keep track of it? And I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. But basically, between these two apps, most of your merchants now will have two QR codes, one for Alipay and one for WeChat Pay. And so literally the citizens in China don't even carry ID or cash or cards or anything with them. They just have their phone. And then you just go up and scan it with your phone, and then punch in the amount of money that the merchant tells you. Enter your password, hit the button. The merchant confirms the sale, and then they hand you the produce. And so from the security, like the ease of use issue, it is certainly a very convenient thing in many respects. In fact, as Richard Wright in his TED Talk, and I apologize I did not get the name of his TED Talk, but look up Richard Wright TED Talks. And he said that all of this cashless society stuff is being driven by the consumers looking for convenience, the government's looking for efficiency, and the businesses looking for money. And when the trifecta of those three things occur, we have a proliferation of cashlessness in our society. Now, anytime you as a consumer are taking on something more convenient, it's going to be better for someone else. We always sacrifice our own personal security and personal privacy at the altar of convenience. And we have to learn to not do that because, and I will bring you back to a C.S. Lewis quote from Screw Tape Letters, the easiest road to hell is soft underfoot, without milestones, and slowly slamping down. I butchered a small part of that. But basically, and you hear it this way, anything that is easy is generally not always the best route. The path of least resistance frequently leads you into a pit that you have to later get out of. And that is the biggest danger in all of this. And so this is kind of what's going on here. So in this Chinese society now, everything from the government aspect of things to the private things to the bums on the street now all eventually take one of these two payment systems, which is 93% of the cashless payment systems. But now these can now link to credit cards. They can link to bank accounts. So basically, like a PayPal account, you could attach 4 or 5 different accounts in there and then choose which account the money's coming out of. We'll address the issues with that in a bit here. All right. But basically they're saying, you can do everything on your smartphone. I'll be leaving the house without my purse, and I've stopped going to the bank, university student says. If she needs money in a hurry, she can ask a friend for a quick loan using a payment app, the student explained. Yeah, you know what when you have to ask your friend for a quick loan, that means that you've run out of money and you don't even know it. And that's the biggest problem with this stuff here. So, of course, here's another article. This one is just from this week. China moves further towards a cashless society as payment giants Alipay and WeChat programs gain ground. So, basically, what is going on is these two megacorps are now getting in on every single transaction in the country. That is scary. From going out to buying a sandwich, to visiting the merchant down the way, to handing a bum some cash. Now you are paying the Alibaba Group a percentage fee for handing a bum some cash. Let that sink in for a second. Someone's making a whole lot of money. We'll dive into that one in a little bit now as well. And so now here's the funny thing is this article entirely focused on wealthy Chinese people. And all of this seems to be focused towards the wealthy Chinese people. Does every Chinese person have a cell phone? I don't know the answer to that question. Does this work out in the fringes of society? Not in China, but in India, they're trying to do this as well. They're trying to, in India, have everything attached to a payment phone backed up with your biometric tracking. So you scan the thing, and instead of entering the PIN like you do in China, you scan the PIN and then you put your fingerprint down. And what they've been doing is going to all of the outskirts of society and fingerprinting everybody and placing them into one government-controlled centralized database. Well, if that doesn't sound creepy enough, but that's really what's starting to happen here. Realize where I'm at in Center County. These three employers together employ well over 70% of this town and region. Are Penn State University, the school district, and the prison. All three of which require you to enter your fingerprints into their centralized database. The FBI centralized database. Over 70% of the citizens in this town are required to fingerprint themselves into the centralized database. They are building a huge centralized database of fingerprints and biometric data to track everything we do. Terrified yet? Is your hat firmly on? So it is the tech firms that are pushing this. It's all branded for your convenience, for your security. Let's talk about that for one brief moment. Actually, let's read the article, and then we're going to talk about security. Chinese tech firms Alibaba and Tencent are driving the adoption of mobile payments around the country, pushing aside banks for a growing role in everyday commerce. China's total mobile payment has now more than quadrupled to $9 trillion in 2016 per year. From iResearch Consulting Group, estimated that dwarfs 40% growth and $112 billion spent in the U.S., a measure of Forrester Research. Not only do these two collect a slice of every mobile payment, usually 0.6%. What is 0.6% of $9 trillion? That's how much money is going to these two companies. They gain vast amount of consumer data that guide them in transforming their apps into marketing platforms and other services to, titillate and convince people to buy everything that you're doing. Financial service companies are also offering loans, investments, and other products through the smartphones as well. Oh, you're out of money. Just click here for your free amount of extra cash. The growth in mobile payments means that Chinese consumers are using cash less frequency. The use of coins and paper bills fell 10% to 66 trillion yen. Is it yen? I don't know how to pronounce that one. Just $10 trillion in 2016 from 2 years earlier, according to data from People's Bank of China. All right, so this mass adoption is causing the cash to decline and the cashlessness of the society, particularly in the big cities. I mean, everything from getting toilet paper, using the toilet, to buying your lunch, everything is now done with the apps. Now, let's take a brief tour here and talk about this in terms of crime, because this is when United States, was it 2005? I think, I forget the exact year, or maybe it was the late 90s. I forget. But in around, it was either 2005 or 1995. I forget which one. The government decided that they were going to do away with handing out cash to the welfare recipients and put it on essentially prepaid debit cards now. So in the United States, pretty much all across the whole of the United States, not only that, but also even scarier is now your Social Security money is also coming that way. So you can just, charge it up. Basically means that of your Social Security, now a percentage of your money all goes to Visa or MasterCard, whichever, probably Visa. All right, so then what they did is they said, well, the problem is that they were issuing a check. The person would take the check. They'd walk down to the local 7-Eleven, because that's the predominant place you cash your check, either 7-Eleven or Walmart if you're in the welfare communities. You're cashing your check and you're walking around with a bunch of cash. Well, what happened is when they moved from that system to the debit card system, we saw a dramatic decrease in violent crime. They're like, whoa, amazing, dramatic decrease in violent crime just by switching to a cashless society. And everyone's going to point this, go, the crime decreases. There's no more cash on the streets. The cash goes down and down and down. And so this Richard Wright asked this fascinating question. How many of you have ever been robbed at gunpoint? Of his whole TED Talk audience, this was a TED Talk, I think he said 2 or 3 people. How many of you have had your credit cards information stolen? Nearly everybody. Those that didn't raise their hand, they just didn't know yet. Crime has gone up so much higher when we go to a cash society because fraud increases, stealing your accounts increases. And when you lock it to data that can't be changed, kind of like this whole Equihacks issue, locking this with data that can't be changed, we have a crisis on our hands. It's one thing to have a credit card with a credit card number that if that gets compromised, it is so easy to just wipe that one out, kill it in the system, reissue the card. But when it's locked to your biometric data and someone finds a way to steal that type of system, and trust me, they will, what do? You're out of options. You got to go back to a society where you're trading things back and forth. So when you remove cash from society, crime goes up thousands of fold because it becomes so much easier for one hacker to steal everybody's. Everybody gets robbed rather than just 1 or 2 people in those areas. This does not decrease crime. It shifts crime. Sure, violent crime will go down in very small subsets of the population, but then what happens is major uptick in crime affecting nearly everybody. That's a scary state. Let's go ahead and have a look at some comments, because we got a lot in here. School ran out of space in Spanish, started to take Mandarin. There you go. Hey! No, you didn't miss the show, Political Monkey. I'm kind of barely past the intro. All right. As well as you know, Tom, you wouldn't like it. No calling, SMS, or camera. Yeah, see, I need my calling, my SMS, and my camera. Those are like the only three things I need my smartphone to do. That and email. Waiting for calling, SMS to be fixed, and then you'll use it. All right, cool. No, I don't think Lineage is sad, though. I love Lineage. I think Lineage is awesome. Not even realized until now that it was the 50th. Yes, the 50th tinfoil hat time. I got 50 of these things. Personally, I'd stick with cash and cards. I barely even use cards. Mandarin is a very difficult language to learn. Yes, I don't know. Good old jabber with Plasma Mobile, so you can have an SMS alternative. SMS is dead anyway. Who still uses it? How do you feel about Amazon Go? The job-killing grocery store cashless society is turning us into. I think Amazon Go is the stupidest concept. I hope it flops bad. That's my thought. I mean, of course, the biggest thing about that is you have to have an active and good credit card system on file, which is that no. Anytime you increase your convenience in that manner, you lose all track of what you're doing. We need to keep track, people. Because if you're not keeping inventory of your life, someone else is. They're already keeping inventory of your life. The best you can do is take control of that and confuse them. Otherwise, you are going to buy into the things that they're going to sell you without thinking about it. Sweden had gone cashless. I did not encounter Sweden in my research, but yes, I believe I've heard that as well. Evening, Sneaky Linux. Mark Yates, you've been lazy all day? All right, that's all right. Need a phone to live in China. Oh, boy. 10 cent. Better than 50 cent. Hope there's a vulnerability in their service. I've been at my grandma's. In other words, I've been doing nothing. You're going to do things at grandma's. Just got to plan for it a little bit differently. Want to see more of how it works in China? Go check out Serpenza's or C-Milk's channels. Yeah, there you go. There are a lot of channels. The thing is, though, is that as I was watching these channels, all I found is people like, oh, this is just so awesome. Oh, this is so awesome. This is so cool. This is so cool. And I'm like, my God, are you people mad? But yeah. Saturday, no, only one of my 2 days off, and I work on some Saturdays. Blockstream, blockchain tech, is the core developer of Bitcoin. The first largest investor in Blockstream was a company called AXA, largest insurance company in the world. Yeah. Have AXA been two-time Bilderberg steering committee chairman. I'm sure it looks like the elites are involved in the creation of Bitcoin. Yeah. Imagine not being able to buy anything because your phone is destroyed and wet. Yeah. Imagine getting your phone in a mud puddle and like, oh crap, well, I left home without anything, so I guess I'm done for the day. How are you going to get home if your subway requires you to block your phone? I mean, this is crazy. And Bitcoin I never use. I like cash mainly because it's more secure than a card. Yeah. I mean, the worst that'll happen with cash, I mean, you could lose it and you could, you could lose it and you could, you could get robbed or whatever. But in reality, I would take that risk well over having everything digitally where hackers could get in there. Evening xiphoid process. Lose my phone or wallet in the UK. I can still get cash on a machine with my bank. Yep. Flawed though because of transaction fees. Right? Yeah, Bitcoin's pretty much fallen out of use because it went so crazy high. Those two companies just became central banks. Yep. Cashless system in China is a centralized system where the entirety of the system is controlled by a central authority. Why are people okay with this? I have no idea. It's got to be brainlessness due to overconvenience. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. A lot of corruptions in India. They wanted to track where the money is going. Yeah, I mean, that's true. But, you know, at what point in time do you end up catching in that dragnet the people who just want to live on cash and not worry about all this other crap? And I got news for you, going through a cash register, it is a whole lot faster paying with cash than it is with these people with these cards. Like, put the chip pin cards in there. Like in Weiss, for example, you actually have to enter your chip card 3 times before the thing will actually read properly. It takes like 5 minutes to check out. Put the card in. Oh, got to reset. It's like, oh, for the love, would you just carry a 20? You know, and then, of course, the next thing they want us to do is put everything on the card. Here's a 50-cent stamp. Put it on a card. We'll get into that a little bit more in a bit here. If you're starting to look a lot like a book by Isaac Amos. That's what they think you like to think, but nobody but the NSA knows who Satoshi, the Bitcoin guy is. Seems all too convenient. Where am I from? Biometric data is not even required. Yeah. Got back from church. Glad you're streaming. Awesome. How was service? Blockchain security basically forces you to brute force or removes a single point of failure. Huh? Yen is Japanese, won is Chinese. Okay, thank you for the correction. Yeah, I don't remember. Really want to scare about this? Go watch a film from the 1980s called Brazil. It is dark humor. China currency is RMB. Okay. And the younger generations in China are using phones or other electronic peripherals to pay. That's it. I mean, it's like everything is going that way. Evening, Yansu Fin. Got Technocracy news website. It's a great site to keep up on what's going on in digital surveillance. I will write that one down. That sounds exciting. 1984 was a warning, not an instruction manual. No, it seems to be an instruction manual for the higher elite right now. That's what I'm thinking. China is considered weird to pay using cash. Yeah, there was one of the guys I was watching an interview. It's like, what do you think of people who use cash? He's like, oh, that's weird. That's odd to use cash. Like, oh boy. They said, what is it? Only old people and people that don't know how to use technology use cash. That's what he said. Yeah, I'm kindling fire. I'm kindling it. That's the sure thing. I use encryption. I tend to triple encrypt the password. Encrypt the password from a separate program on a separate computer. There you go. Yeah. Equihacks, the Zuckerberg Mafia, Googlag, and Microtap, and iMacintology. Greetings from Phoenix. Or greetings, Phoenix, Mitchell. How are you? Alphabet gangs. Yep. Yeah, actually, I mean, even on Amazon, I only use cash on Amazon now. I've taken off all other payment methods off of Amazon. Only use cash, just refill the gift cards. That's all I do. Do you still use magnetic strips in the U.S.? Right now we have magnetic strips and we have the chip and pin systems. Frankly, the chip and pin systems are a pain, honestly. Yeah, we do have magnetic strips still as well. Lineage isn't sad, but trying something even more secure. Yeah, that's why I run Lineage. Lineage is awesome. Well, we have not got full cashless in Sweden. You can still pay with regular paper money at many places. Okay. Are you using the payment apps or is it all bank apps, Zanman26, if you're in Sweden? Issue with Android is extremely overused. Yep. The illusion of decreased crime is really an increase in crime. Yep, that's it. Running on Lineage for 4 years on an ancient Nexus. Carbon programmer still uses cash buying. So do I. I use cash for everything. In fact, I went in to deposit a check at the bank like, oh, here's our new car, our new credit cards. You get like 4% cash. No, I use cash for everything. Oh, but I did too until I realized how much of a benefit this was. Like, you're just a moron. Where I live is really a low crime area. People leave their cars unlocked in parking lots. Yep. Amazon Go is just the beginning. Near future, robots will replace us. Yep. Yeah, that's it, you know. If it's not a full store like Amazon Go, it's going to be robots at the cash registers. So is Amazon Go an actual store? Yes. Basically, it's a store that tracks everything you do. There's hundreds of thousands of cameras. You go in there, you download the Amazon Go app. You scan the phone to go in, and it starts tracking you from the moment you get in there, and it tracks everything you pick up, everything you put down. And then you just put everything in your bag or basket and you walk out of the store, and then it just bills your card automatically for everything in your basket. We have banks without the ability to withdraw cash, but they'll give you investment tips, but not cash. Reminds me of an Adventures in Odyssey intro. She's like, oh, I want to take my money out. No, you cannot take your money out. We want your money to stay here, all ours. Our motto is we will teach you to handle money well if it kills you. Like, ew, that's kind of creepy. Strip away the tracking ads from Android and the built-in bloatware, and I will never use, and I think I have a good field tablet for my work. That's why I run Lineage, because it is exactly that. Gets rid of all the bloatware, and I have control over it. What did I miss? Not a whole lot yet. We're still kind of diving in. I'm going to actually save. Let's see. Actually, I'm pretty close to the bottom here. See, coming up next is a similar system where all of your online accounts are linked together and all of your purchases, searches, and messages and other activities are linked. Carbon program, that's exactly what's going on right now. With Google and Facebook can track everything you buy online and offline. They have access to your offline credit card data, and they attach that to the marketing profile they've created on you. So that's why I don't use credit cards or debit cards or anything. I am a cash guy on almost everything. In fact, when's the last time I actually used a card? I don't remember. It might have been 2 or 3 weeks ago. I didn't get cash out, and I was meeting a friend for lunch, and I think I had enough cash to cover me, but he forgot his wallet, so I used the card. And I just used my debit card in that case. It was a couple months ago. I mean, I don't use my debit card. I mean, that's kind of crazy. Greetings, Congree. I should go back and finish reading 1984. Yeah. Can't travel by bus or train in Sweden without a card or a ticket bought online. That's kind of scary. Yeah, you can download the APKs. The advantage of using F-Droid is it will update your files. Yeah, Mark, I don't get the appeal of Librem. That's a Librem 5 phone. Having a desktop on mobile. I mean, I have mixed opinions on it. It's cool to have a pure Linux phone, but I don't care if my phone is pure Linux. I care if my phone is secure. That's what I care about. And Lineage OS gives me what I need, honestly. All right, we're going to save our comments there because they're moving in faster than I can respond to them. So we'll save my spot right there. We'll dive on back to our articles. So the next thing, so here's a little bit about their bus system down here. So Shanghai Metro, basically you come over here and you just scan your phone on the app right over here. Now, the good thing with this app here is you download the app specifically for this, and then you can actually preload it with cash, or you can link it to some type of payment option like a credit card or a debit card. So you can reload this. So this is the type of thing I wouldn't have as big of a deal with. As long as they can make available this app without a Google store or an Apple store, so I can sideload the app. I don't like the tracking aspect, but in reality, an app like this can probably track you anyway because it scans where you got on, where you got off, as probably as part of the payment option to figure out, how much to charge the fare, for sure. But regardless, the fact that I have the cash loading option of this device is the way to go. But then, of course, now we are back full circle with that problem. What do you do to travel on the train if you do not have a smartphone? But of course, I think they want everybody to have a smartphone because it's so easy to track you. And here is actually kind of starting to dive into outside of the scope of just the Chinese area into the larger scope as a whole. So what are some of the perils? So this is an article just came out a couple days ago, but it's looking first at last year. If you remember when we talked about this, Visa was offering up to 50 small businesses $10,000 if they go cashless. Now, honestly, what's behind this? Well, Visa's like, hey, it's more convenient, it's more secure. What if you won't get robbed because you're only taking Visa payments? Come on, this is way better. So basically, any small business that signed up onto this pledge to go cash free, up to 50 of those businesses would randomly be selected for a $10,000 bounty to go cash free. It's kind of like giving up your social security number to get a cookie. And so they haven't announced the winners of this yet, but basically what they're trying to do is trying to make it trendy to go cash free in businesses. And of course, here is the Visa page. It's Visa, it's the Visa's website, and it's cashless.html. And so basically, they want to do the Visa Cashless Challenge. Thanks to all those who participated in the Visa Cashless Challenge. Stay tuned for the news about the winning food service small business in the coming weeks. Why cashless? Oh, what we can learn from 1 billion cashless people. An economy's going cashless. Cashless around the world. Online. Guys, this is amazing for the person that's collecting 1.95 to 2% of every transaction that these businesses are doing. Have much conflict of interest, Visa? Oh, Lord. It's so awesome. We want to push a cashless society. Here's the benefits of a cashless society. By the way, we're going to be taking 2% of everything. Now, it's not always 2%. The actual numbers, and it's hard to calculate, but the card-present business, roughly it's 1.6% plus a 10% transaction fee. A lower balance, 5 to 15 transaction fees, 8 to 10 cents for not a card not present. So these are all various terms. If you get into e-commerce and how things work, this is how this works. So you pay higher exchange fees if the card is not present, 1.9% plus a 10%. So in other words, 10 cents plus 2%, almost just shy of 2%. This is a great deal for the person holding the gateway, like Visa. So, way to go, Visa. This is amazing. You can... Oh, this is the global impact of a cashless man of India. Oh, designing for a cash-free business. Oh, thinking beyond the credit card. Cash-free, cashless ways to pay. Cash-free, cash-free. This is awesome for the people collecting 2% of everything. Because 2% of a lot of transactions is a whole lot of money. This is not about you. This is about a bunch of powerful corporate entities controlled by a very few people collecting more and more and more of everything we do. And by the way, these extra fees, they get passed on to the consumer. I just did a big marketing run for a client, and because, he pays me in credit cards, I had to add the processing fees because I had to go out to the store and in cash up front buy all the materials we needed. And we did 350 mailings. So, I bought 500 envelopes. I bought a few reams of paper. I had to buy 400 stamps, which alone is like $200. And so I had to put all this stuff together. And then now I have to put all that in an invoice and get my reimbursement for my cash back for all the materials I bought for my client. Well, I'm not going to send him an invoice for the exact amount I just paid because I have a 3.2% processing fee on top of that. So I added a little bit more on top of that. So I think I added, I don't know, 5% or whatever onto the top of that, because I had to take it up front out of my own cash, take on my own risk, whatever else, and then I had the ability to go on and do that. Well, this is the thing, is I had to pass the extra cost on to him. If he handed me a stack of cash and said, go buy what you need, and I go out and buy what I need, and with a stack of cash, I'd have been okay with just the exact amount. But the fact that he pays with a credit card, I had to add the additional fee on, and that's what happens to all of us. So everything across the field starts costing us more, and Visa's back there collecting a little bit of everything that comes off the line. Every Coca-Cola, every sandwich, every bag of chips, every little thing, no matter how cheap. 25 cents, 25-cent bag of chips costs you 10 cents plus the 2 extra cents. That's like half of the merchant's thing, but that's exactly why they say minimum order, whatever else. And so, you know, this cashless challenge is awesome for the people holding the gateways to select all of this stuff in behind them. I mean, that's just the way this cashlessness works. And so here is, let's go ahead and continue on down here. So doing away with cash may indeed sound appealing. Proponents often note that China and India have already gone further in this direction than the U.S., but then few drawbacks are obvious. Card companies such as Visa charge merchants high processing fees and risk fraud balances out of the lower risk of theft. Older customers may not wish to make the change, and customers will lose yet more privacy. Remember also, every transaction that is made, they can track where it was made, even what you bought. Everything. Where it was made, what you bought, how much it was. By correlating, you know, the transactions around each other, do you meet out with the same people at the same times? That's a good question. And so you have a lot of this going back and forth. Not only is it about collecting the 2%, it's also about collecting all that data against you so that they can use that data, make better marketing profiles against you, and sell you ads that will titillate your desires to spend more money that you had planned on not spending. That is the danger of all of this. It's not just about the transaction fees. It's not just about losing your phone. It's not just about the biometric tracking. It's also about tracking you, logging everything you do, and building a profile about you that you have no say in what you're doing. And this is why I don't use Shoppers Club cards either. Because even if I go to the local grocery store and use a Shoppers Club card that's linked back to me, even if I pay cash, they can still link everything back to me. And Google does that too. So I use store cards. Okay, many impoverished people do not have credit cards or bank accounts. The poor can't take plastic if they're begging on the streets, except in China. Conditions in the U.S. are nowhere near optimal for a leap to cashless society. Too many people would be left behind. Your millennial friend may be happy to accept money via PayPal or another app. Your cafe may use an iPad instead of a cash register, but landlords in low-income areas still prefer money orders. It's convenient for customers to charge, say, an outing to the nail salon, but when you add the tip to your credit card bill, it may never make it to the worker. Okay, the reasons one may not have a bank account with an associated credit debit card are many and varied. Workers who lack photo identification may find it nearly impossible to obtain an account under current rules. Okay, this one here annoys the bejeebers out of me. Immigrants in the country illegally may fear losing access to savings. Good! Go home! You're illegal! Go home! It's against the law! I'm not concerned about your concerns. You're breaking the law. And you're pulling resources out of the people in my country legally who need it. Go home. Come back legally. More mundane, a poor credit history, or simply having enough money to maintain a minimum balance. According to FDIC, nearly 16 million American adults are unbanked, and that's 24.5 million are underbanked, relying on services such as payday loans, cash advantage, and other alternative products. These men and women are largely reliant on cash. It's true they have access to reloadable debit cards such as Green Dot, Rush, or those available in big box stores such as Walmart, but those cards can carry significant fees. And we're back to more fees. Pinging and pinging and pinging the people who can afford it the least is unethical for a business to do, and that is why we are not in a capitalist society. We are in an oligarchy or a corporatocracy. Because capitalism has an element of morality that is surprisingly missing from our modern day approaches. All right, let's stop there and take a few more comments. Cash only is possible even online with Amazon cards, but really, would you sell your soul to Bezos for affiliate links to kill all our jobs? Cash only is possible even online with Amazon cards, but would you sell your soul to Bezos for affiliate links to kill all our jobs? You know, this is a fascinating thing because I'm starting to look into which services I'd like to provide affiliate links with. And I saw, there's a guy that does a lot of consulting with people about how to build your YouTube channel. It's Rodriguez or something. I don't know. I watch his videos every now and again. And he was doing one about, making money with affiliate links and things like that. And he's like take Bluehost, for example. He's like, Bluehost has a great affiliate program. Use all this. I'm like, I would never include Bluehost because their products are crap and they're owned by EIG, and that's the crappiest hosting company. If you are looking into web hosting, do not go with Bluehost. And any guy who's pushing Bluehost because he has an affiliate link, I wouldn't trust anything he has because he's more about the money than he is about this quality service. Now, there are web companies I am looking at getting affiliate links with because I've used them and I like them and I trust them. Bluehost is not one of them. Don't use their services. They were good a long time ago. They have been crap for 10 years. They were bought out by EIG 10 years ago, and their services went so far downhill that, I move people off of them as quickly as I can if I find they're on them because they are so bad. In fact, I just moved a client off of theirs onto my own system because he was getting hacked every other day on Bluehost servers from cross-shared stuff. It was just poor service. So that's kind of one of those things is that watch out for the affiliate stuff. Now, as far as that, I shop on Amazon quite a bit because I simply can't find stuff anymore. They have done a good enough job of putting out of business the things that I need. And I always try and find stuff locally. But if it comes down to, for example, if I want to buy mailing envelopes to ship books out of my office, I keep my shipping costs as low as I can, of course. Well, the best price I can get on mailing envelopes for what I need are like $1.50 in town. On Amazon, I get them for 27 cents a piece. Makes good business decision to do that. So I'm in a love-hate relationship with Amazon. I love the fact that I can shop with them without being tracked. I don't necessarily have a big problem with the affiliate link stuff. But when it comes down to it, that's a hard question to answer. So yeah, political monkey. I'm with you. That is a hard question to answer. Sometimes it's just one of those things that I just can't avoid it. Like I use Comcast for my internet. Why? I have no other choice. That's why. I hate Comcast. I don't want to use Comcast, but I have no other choice. And now the stream should be about to die. Every time I mention Comcast, my stream dies. All right. It's all fun and games until you do something the government doesn't like, and then they flip a switch and turn off everything. Yes, that's a big concern. If everything is linked to a centralized phone, a centralized app, a centralized whatever, that's exactly what happens. Amazon Go, way to cram as many exploitable devices into one location. We need it now. Okay, heard some guy invested his whole mortgage or life savings in Bitcoin or other crypto. Oh, I hope he did it before it went up. Anything that feels AOSP without interface mods and memory draining apps is God. Okay. We use chip and pin mostly, and most bank errands are done through mobile apps and web apps, and the bank almost forces us to do as they close most brick and mortar ones. Yeah, that's a scary thing. Yeah, China did just ban Bitcoin, I believe. Yeesh. See, the Facebook shut down an AI engine after developers discovered the AI had created its own language. Yes, that was kind of exciting. Yeah, two AIs got together and developed their own language. Actually, one of them they found out that one of the AI communications said we should kill all humans. That was quite exciting. How masses are brainwashed and to get educated to think for yourself, not to become one of them. Well, actually, your school probably talks about that on one side, but then forces you into that on the other. Greetings, Lamer Linux. Crypto is only used the way because it's value to common goods and not known how many, whatever per egg. Okay, all I got is just that gun eating a cookie. Nice. Everything relies on the internet. It should be considered utility with warm water. Hey, you know what? That's a very fabulous argument that the FCC seems to not remember. Cash-free, debt-inducing. That's exactly the problem. Cash-free is debt-inducing. I'm just scanning the comments at this point in time. They collect so much data, they need AI to analyze it. Yeah. And that's a big problem. You remember the name of the video where you talked about the process you used to pay for Amazon stuff with cash and then have it delivered to another location in town instead of your own? James, to my knowledge, I think I only did that on to my Patreon only guys. I think that was a Patreon only, and I think you're still on the Patreon list. So look through my past articles on Patreon. I think that was a private video just for the patron subscribers. Get a good amount of electricity and food? Never. SiteGround rocks. Yeah, SiteGround is one of the ones I recommend. I don't personally use them, but I've used them with a lot of clients in the past. SiteGround is pretty cool. Never heard of Nia. Wondered what the story was. Makes complete sense. Return to the barter system. Banning crypto would cripple the economy. They'd want their own poster child. They can control it. Yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and have a look at, let's see, we looked at that article, There's one more thing I wanted to see. Maybe I did not get it included. I like this. There's a letter to the editor, though. Let me read this one here. Actually, this is the first article. Let's go ahead and move this. So this article here is about the places downtown New York, like in Manhattan, that are starting to ditch cash. So they just opened a lunch spot on Broadway 38th in Midtown Manhattan. Committed a consumer fox paw. She placed her order for the chicken, brown rice, and yams. When she got to the register, she held out a $50 bill. Sorry, the cashier told her, we don't take cash. Not we don't take 50s, just no cash, period. So explained credit and debit cards were fine, as was the easy-to-download Dig-In phone app. No, I don't want your stupid article. I want to highlight something, you stupid website. That is crazy. They have disabled the ability to highlight stuff. Yeah, that's why I don't go to New York Times much. All right, so this brings up another point. I do not want to download an app for your specific store. Now, I wouldn't be super duper concerned about the Metro app for the bus station. Maybe, I don't know. But, you know, I'm not going to be downloading McDonald's app anytime soon. And then Taco Bell's app. And then Dairy Queen's app. And everybody's app. So that they can keep track of everything that I'm doing, whether I'm on their app or not on their app. Because check the terms and conditions, that's exactly what they're doing. They're logging everything you're doing. They're embedding code. They can track everything you're doing. They'll be pushing little things. Push you towards it. Give you free fries. Get some free French fries for getting our mobile app. No. I think if I really need some fries, I think I can muster $1 for your fries. I have like 30 of those over there in that change jar over there. If I really want French fries, I can muster some up. All right. So now they're talking about this Dig phone app. Yeah, just download the app for our store. It's easy to pay. No, thank you. Go ahead, bye-bye. You do not have my business. I've never experienced this before, said Ms. Bryant, 20, an assistant designer. I guess we're in new times. Yeah. And this is going to happen until we as a society stop accepting this. And that's kind of the thing, you know. I'll tell you, I will not go somewhere that does not accept cash. Okay, but now this guy responded to that article. Says, in the course of the last 2 years, I've had my debit card replaced 4 times, my Amex replaced 6 times, my Visa replaced once, all because of unauthorized charges appeared on my accounts. I do not know where my card information gets captured, and I'm sure it varies. Consequently, I've taken to using cash for my day-to-day transactions, buying coffee or lunch at the grocery store or gas station, in taxis, or for other local purchases less than $100. If all cashless transactions were completed by waving a phone in front of a sensor, they might be completed faster than paying with cash. However, that is not the case. Most often, the cashier or customer swipes and inserts the card, then waits for the transaction to be processed. The customer to sign into the electronic pad, or worse, the paper receipt to be printed and then signed. Several cash transactions could be completed in that time frame. I don't at all accept that refusing to take cash gives any benefit to consumers. It limits our choice and puts us at the mercy of societies, of the security of a business's electronic payment system. And then to the editor, if you have no fixed address, it is extremely difficult to obtain a credit card or even a debit card. Some businesses that refuse to accept cash from customers are in effect imposing a ban on many homeless people. Perhaps the official reason for the no cash policy is efficiency. If you are running, say, a restaurant with a heavy patron turnover, this is defensible. Less defensible would be the desire to discourage the patronage of a certain category of customer whose presence might be perceived as a turnoff to the more upscale majority. So that's kind of some of the people's thoughts on this. There's one more thing I wanted to see, and I'm guessing I did not actually have it written down in my article here. But they were talking about some of the things that you would need. I guess this one's good too. Let's read this one. Livestock is the earliest known form of money, but try paying for a sandwich with chicken. Unless New Hampshire lawmakers act, diners and shoppers may be paying with cash gets the same kind of response. That currency is no longer accepted here. Some businesses, though their numbers are dwindling, insist in cash, in part to escape the transaction fees charged by banks and other credit card companies. Lately, a growing, though small number of businesses are refusing cash and requiring payments by credit or debit card or phone-based applications like Apple Pay or Dig In. Airlines stopped accepting cash for in-flights, drinks, and amenities a long time ago. Will the future be a cashless society? Frankly, we hope not. Business owners we've eschewed cash say that it saves them time in the form of counting and recounting and trips to the bank, money by increased employee productivity, and the risk in the form of robbery or theft. No doubt that is true, but can they get away with requiring digital money? So that kind of gets into some of the other aspects of this. Now, some of the things that has to occur, and this is what I forgot to include apparently. 3 things have to be available for this cashless society work. Number 1 is the constant presence of electricity in all areas. Not only the place where you are, but the place where the processing occurs. Number 2 is you need a strong connected internet connection. And number 3 is you need security across there. And I remember seeing this in action a couple weeks ago, because I go out when I'm writing. Sometimes if I'm out in town, I'll take the writing computer and I'll go to like a donut shop or something. So I go into this new Dunkin' Donut shop, brand new place. First time I've been to that particular one. I walk in and the lady ahead of me trying to pay for her order of donuts for like $2 with a credit card. And wouldn't you know, their internet wasn't working. They don't have a hardline internet. All of their internet was a cellular or a wireless internet connection, and it was not working right. And so the line is being held up by the fact that their credit card processing system is not working right. And so here's this lady already sipping down her coffee that she hasn't yet paid for because the internet connection is not working. I'm like, hello, I have $2 bills here. I want 2 donuts, please. And, took her another 5 or so minutes until they were able to get an internet connection working, and I was in and out with my donuts. It's down to my writing computer. And that's one of those aspects, is we need to make sure that. So that begs the question, when the crazy EMP happens that all of us tinfoil hat conspiracy guys are going to say is going to happen, when that happens, the people who are actually going to be able to have commodities are those that are already prepared. So, first thing I want to address is small digital transactions. You do not feel these, and you probably don't track these. I remember buying some magic cards on Amazon, and you're buying them from 4 or 5 different little locations. And so my transaction record was like 15 little line items from Amazon for like 15 cents to 25 cents. This is ridiculous. How do you possibly reconcile this? And then, of course, buying MP3s. I'm not sure you can buy MP3s on Amazon anymore, but the last time I tried to buy MP3s on Amazon, I was like, I want to put 5 MP3s into my cart and pay for it. No, you don't have that option. You have to go in and buy each one as a separate transaction. Like, no, not a chance. Not a chance. Not happening. Because what happens is when you have these, A, it becomes very difficult to reconcile, and B, you don't feel the individual transactions going. So if I went through this life in China, and I'm going through China, and I'm just throughout my day, ooh, here's my apple, ooh, here's my hot dog, ooh, here's my soup, ooh, here's this. By the end of the day, I've made 15 different transactions. How do I possibly have the time every single day to sit there and log all those in? But what I do, I go out to the bank twice a month, and I pull out cash, half a month each time, and then I don't carry all that with me at all times. I'll put that into envelopes, and then, you know, I know what I have the amount of cash for what section to go into. And so you end up going there, and people are like, oh, well, if I did that, I'd spend more money. Well, get disciplined. Nobody's good on anything on discipline right away. Get good at discipline. That's what we need to do. Get good at discipline so that you can get to the point to where you're not spending money just because it's in your pocket. So this is kind of brings us back full circle with creating a budget, being intentional, and losing a little bit of convenience for your own sake. Every time a business gives you something that's more convenient, it makes them more money. And it probably is causing you to spend more money. So give up some of that convenience to have a budget. Now, I'm going to come full circle here with a criticism that I gave to some of the budgeting tools out there. Many years ago, if you were in the Christian circles dealing with money, you would have heard about the ministry called Crown Financial Ministries, which I followed a little bit. And around that time, from Crown Financial Ministries, you know, I was on their mailing list at some point in time. So they sent me a survey. They're like, oh, what do you think of what we're doing? And I gave them this survey. And then, to be honest, I haven't heard anything from Crown Financial Ministries in a long time. I'm not even sure if they're still around. I'm sure they probably are, but they're very irrelevant. What I said to them is, you guys do a lot of fun tips helping people with creating a budget and all this kind of stuff. I said, but there's a major problem. I said, you guys keep on pushing your products, your tools, your things. And I said, is it better to teach somebody how to cheaply manage their budget, or is it better to take a guy who's already flat broke and push a $15 envelope system on him? And literally, since I've done that survey and whatever else, I've not heard anything from them one way or the other. Like I said, they're probably still out there. But there is a group that has replaced Crown Financial Ministries in the churches, and that is the Dave Ramsey group. And I loved Dave Ramsey 10 years ago. But he became so mainstreamed and so overly Christianized that, to me, it's just a parachurch ministry. And frankly, I think that he has gone off his rocker. And I actually have his envelope system here because I teach the FPU class. At least I have in the past. What you get in this, you do get envelopes, which are nice. They have basically balance sheets in here. And then you can set your things in here. And then, of course, this guy here, there's a spot you can put your checkbook there if you want to do that. And then there's more envelopes, and you're supposed to write the category and then put cash in here. So you have an envelope with a bunch of cash, and then you can write down the balance of what's going where. Even this, I don't actually use these things because, I mean, if you take the FPU class, this is included in your kit. And if you got it, go ahead and use it. But prior to ever doing that, what I did is I went to Walmart and I bought a $1 little thing. And for $1, I bought a whole bunch of little envelopes, which, hey, I put the category written right on the envelopes. And then I even use the little tabs to write my categories. Woo, right on there. So I have little tabs indicating what the categories are for. This is the type of thing that you need. We don't need fancy dancy little things like this. And frankly, I think that Dave Ramsey's gone off a rocker. I haven't listened to his show in a long time. I can't even tolerate it anymore. It's become so ADD, all over the place. I can't listen to it anymore. I think his teaching is still fairly sound, but that's kind of that, you know. Be intentional. That's the thing. Be intentional and use cash. When we go to a cashless society, you don't feel the cash leaving, and you will spend a whole lot more than if you're actually spending with cash. So let's have a final look at our comments. Make it open source and be analyzed thoroughly. Otherwise, it's just not secure your data. Okay. Free fries. Yep, free fries for downloading our your personal data tracking stuff. So for me, I'll be sticking to developing small tools until I find a way to be in a distro developer position. Can you have an anonymous cash card? Oh, you can't have an anonymous cash card. Oh, wait. Well, I mean, you can buy one of the security ways if you do need to shop online or you do want to use plastic in various places. You can buy a prepaid debit card and just don't give them your real social security number. I mean, you could do that. Take checks, cash, debit, and credit, but I usually prefer checks over about everything. Yep. Gives me an instant record of the transaction and a check image for my books. Yeah, there you go. Cash is my least favorite way to be paid personally, but if someone does, I'll just mark it on my FreshBooks. That's actually what I do, Mark, is I mark it as just going into my petty cash, and then I'll immediately just transfer it into an owner contribution if someone does that. But then I'll mark it on the invoice as being paid with cash, so I have a record that it was paid with cash. That's what I do with it. Had my account hacked too many times. Luckily, my credit union reimbursed me, but I prefer using cash. That's it. That's pretty much why I don't use my cards anymore. When power grid is down, how do you pay for anything centralized? Yep, that's the question. Is the fear of EMP really realistic? Well, you know, EMP is the thing that most people predict would knock out U.S. society the best because we're so dependent on the grid and our grid is so fragile, and EMP is the best way to cripple this country. It would knock the grid out for a while. Hello, crypto. Dave Ramsey has gone insane. He supports the GOP new tax plan and pushing very expensive, inferior every dollar. Well, every dollar is, I mean, unless he's changed it, he might have changed it. Last I knew, every dollar was free except you paid the fee if you wanted to connect it to your bank. Now, he might have changed that. Like I said, I haven't watched Dave Ramsey in about a year. I tried to, but when is it Ken Coleman, I think, when he became kind of a speaker for Dave and they replaced him with that new moronic, idiotic retard of a host, I cannot stand listening to that human being talk, which now means about half of Dave Ramsey's team, I can't stand listening to the sound of their voice. And so I stopped listening to Dave Ramsey because of that. I just, no, I'm sick of it. But yeah, Dave Ramsey is pushing way, 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 way too much stuff now. He used to be about teaching people how to budget. He is now about selling his stuff. Honestly, I might do the same if I were in his position, but at the same token, I think it is an abandonment of his ultimate plan, because, and I've been in this position where I felt like a failure in some areas, and I would spend money if I thought it would make me more money down the road. I'd spend money to learn when all I needed to do was sit down and read the book I already had rather than buy a new one. But I would spend money to buy a new budgeting system, and then all I'm out is the money, and the budgeting system didn't actually help me. I am against that type of stuff. If you want to help somebody, teach them how to go down and buy the cheapest foldy thing you possibly can with little envelopes in it, and teach them how to make a budget on a piece of paper, not on an app. That's my take on it. I think, and I think he's just pushing way too many products. And you can kind of tell that case because every single book that's released is a New York Times bestseller before it even happens because of popularity. And that's why the New York Times bestseller list is a useless thing these days. Yeah, he has went way downhill. Keep my docs in a folder like that. Easy to grab and run in case of emergency. Yep. Where can I find a host file to block ads and trackers? Updated. I already have yours. Mine's pretty good, but I would just do some online searches and see if you can find another one too. I mean, mine might be a little out of date at this point. I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, I know it blocks ads for me. Really good. Bet is calling. See you later, Sandman. Don't let the Sandman come. All right. There's a substitute teacher who's talking about conspiracy theories that are real for the media, and the media bashed him for that. Mainstream media is just PR for the rich. Yeah. No wires equals questionable security. That is right. All right, folks. I think that it is about time we wrap this guy up and drive this train home. So thanks for watching, everyone. I have actually recorded a outdoor philosophy for tomorrow, so I'll post that about noon tomorrow. Check out the new outdoor philosophy. We're continuing the minimalizing series, and I'm talking about minimalizing the dining room and the living room areas. So we're wrapping up on the bottom of that. All right, let's see. From a military perspective, EMP is a real threat, and it's something that my unit at least frequently trained for and could end modern life. Absolutely. In fact, that's one of the reasons. See that little tin over there? That type of tin is the exact type of thing you might want if you want to protect some devices. So that tin is full of USB drives and redundant backups. An EMP will not destroy those drives. So that's kind of the things, and I'm not super crazy about EMP type stuff, but just a little, you know. It's something to give some thinking about. Giving honest, Frosty Flake says, you're giving honest answers from your own experience. Appreciate that. I had to go ahead when you're clawing your way back. Yeah, that's it, you know. I mean, and that's the thing about life. Life is a journey, and we need to walk it. Former commander used EMP on Hussein's power grid in the first Gulf War. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I actually pulled the core of my host file came from another site. It's still actually in there. BSD operating system good for laptops in terms of wireless security. I would not trust BSD for wireless security. They are lagging behind on all of their wireless adapters. Actually, my PF Sense box, the biggest problem I have is the antenna that I have pushing wireless to my network is actually a BGN, but they only support BG. They do not support N or anything higher than that in PF Sense or BSD as a whole. It's a BSD limitation. BSD wireless is way behind where it should be. It's one of the legitimate criticisms of them. So I would be leery about that. All right, folks, I'm going to jump off. Have yourselves a wonderful evening. I guess once again, if you would like to help support what we're doing, check out switchtolinux.com/support. I am on Patreon, patreon.com/TomM. There are some Amazon links down below, and on my website there at the support site, there's a PayPal link if you want to send a tip over there. So thanks for watching. Hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.